What if I told you that the movie The Black Phone isn't just a horror film, but it's an ancient mystery school initiation wrapped in supernatural suspense? That beneath the surface of abduction and fear lies a profound allegory of the soul's transformation, the hidden voice within, the spiritual ancestors guiding us through the dark.
Oh, you goof. Well, isn't that just peachy keen?
You need some help?
You see that?
Yeah.
Would you hand me my hat? Yes, sir. I am a part-time magician.
Are those black balloons in there?
Would you like to see a magic trick?
Welcome, seekers of hidden knowledge. Today, we unveil the veiled, unlock the metaphysical and symbolic layers of The Black Phone, a film that, far beyond its genre, mirrors the soul's descent into the darkness and its ascent through divine communication. Each character, each setting, is more than it seems. The grabber, the basement, the disembodied voices. These are all sacred metaphors, echoing initiatory rites found in ancient spiritual traditions. Today, we will walk through this film not as casual viewers, but as esoteric interpreters, decoding the secret symphony of symbols that speak to the body, the mind, and the soul. So without further ado, the lesson titled, The Black Phone. Let's begin. The Black Phone, though cloaked in horror-thrilled genre, the film offers a deeply esoteric and metaphysical allegory of the soul's initiation through the crucible of fear, trauma, and inner awakening. At its core, the film presents a spiritual rite of passage disguised as a survival narrative, wherein the protagonist, Finney, becomes the neophyte, a young initiate forced to confront the fragmented shadow of self, veiled within the labyrinth underworld of abduction. The serial killer, known as the Grabber, emerges as the demonic archetype, the alchemical adversary embodying Saturnian energy, and how that looks like with adjectives is like restriction, discipline, karma, and the devourer of time. He is a symbolic gatekeeper of transformation. He is the necessary dark force that catalyzes the boy's transcendence of helplessness. And I know I state this often, but just as the alchemist descends into the blackness of matter and psyche, Finney as well is metaphorically entombed in the basement, a symbolic womb tomb, where he must die to his old self and be reborn through the gnosis, or the knowledge of himself. The disconnected Black Phone serves not only as a supernatural conduit, but as a sacred inner mechanism, a ascuant receiver, by which Finney communicates with the spirits of the dead. These spirits are fragments of his own potential, his metaphysical echoes of his lineage strengths and his past failures, souls who failed their initiatory trials. Each child who contacts Finney represents a facet of the unconscious mind or the dormant faculties. Let's use Griffin for an example. He is the revealer of time, aligns with the solar plexus, granting the awareness of limitation. Billy, the wild kid. His chaotic spirit aligns with the sacral center, embodying will and explosive action. Vance, the wrathful warrior, represents the solar fire of Mars, summoning the courage to overcome fear. And lastly, Robin, the brotherly voice of heart-centered strength, channeling the energy of the Anahata chakra, the higher mental force of inner encouragement and memory. They are his spiritual ancestors, his inner guides, disembodied aspects of his higher self who once fell prey to the same demonic entrapment but now serve as spiritual archetypes. Finney's sister, Gwen, is the seer, the lunar and intuitive feminine principle, whose dreams pierce the veil of illusion and channel messages from the divine. She represents the sophonic principle, wisdom, knowledge, the divine sight. Her visions serve like the light of the moon in the dark forest, reflecting what is hidden in the unconscious realms and signaling interconnectedness of the beings beyond the lunar time. Her prayers to the Most High Power are not merely religious, but symbolic invokes of the Christos within, the savior force that awakens the spirit of love and redemption in the midst of horror. Finney's father, the broken man caught in the cycle of trauma and suppression, symbolizes the wounded patriarch, whose pain is generational and whose tyranny reflects the dangers of unintegrated grief and psychic repression. He stands as a warning of what happens when pain calcifies into control rather than transmute into compassion. Finley's eventual triumph is not merely physical, but spiritual. It is the reclamation of the inner authority, the wielding of power born from having suffered and listened. When he defeats the grabber, he does not do it alone, but with the collective force of the forgotten voices, those integrated shadows. The lessons gleam from each symbolic death. The cord with which he strangles his captor is woven with knowledge, memory, and the invisible strength of the soul's allies, just as the initiate conquers the dragon not by brute force, but by wisdom, timing, and ancestral guidance. The Black Phone is not a tale of horror, but an allegory of the soul's emergence from captivity through the mystical phone lines of the unseen, a powerful parable of resurrection, inner knowledge, and the transformation of suffering into spiritual sovereignty. So the next time you watch The Black Phone, watch with an awakening eye. Look beyond the shadows. Hear the voices not as ghosts, but as echoes of your own divine memory. The film is a mirror, one that reflects our forgotten strength, our unseen allies, and the truth that even in our deepest prisons, that the line of higher self is never truly cut. Stay tuned for more revelations from hidden realms, and remember, the call is coming from within.